Hello and welcome back to The Pharma Intellect, your trusted channel for insightful and simplified pharmaceutical science. I am Jayashri and today we are diving into part 3 of our General Pharmacology series. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2 yet, I highly recommend go and check them out. Today we are going to learn two important and practical topics. One, drug nomenclature means how drugs are named. Second, drug categories based on how they are regulated. So, let's get started. Drug nomenclature, the systematic naming of pharmaceutical substance. The different names a single drug can have. Just like one person can call by their full name or nickname, a drug also has different names. A drug generally has three types of names. Let's explore one by one. First, chemical name. It describes the substance chemically. Chemical name is usually complex, so not used commonly in daily practice. Example, paracetamol's chemical name is N-acetyl para-aminophenol, and this is a chemical structure of paracetamol. Second, non-proprietary, generic or approved name. It is the official name given to a drug. This name is accepted by competent scientific body or authority. Example, United States adopted name USAN by USAN Council. Similarly, there is a British approved name BAN of drug also. It is simple, standardized and used by doctors, pharmacists and in textbooks also. Generic name will be same in all countries even if brand names are different. Remember, when two medicines have same generic name, it means they contain the same API, and the API is the main substance that will be responsible for the therapeutic action. So if the two medicines have same API, it means they will have the same therapeutic activity. So generic names are written in pharmacopoeias. For example, paracetamol in India and acetaminophen in USA. Now, you might have surprised why paracetamol called acetaminophen in USA. Let's understand. Paracetamol and acetaminophen are two names of the same compound, which is N-acetyl para-aminophenol. The difference in the naming arises from the distinct nomenclature systems adopted by the various countries. The name acetaminophen, which is a generic name used in USA, following USAN system, while paracetamol is the name given by the WHO under the INN system, means International Non-Proprietary Name System, used in countries like India, UK, Australia. So simply saying, both names are accepted and understood within their respective context, and drugs' efficacy and usage remain consistent regardless of the name. Third, proprietary, brand or the trade name. This name assigned by the manufacturer or pharmaceutical company. One drug may have a multiple brand names. Example, Dolo 650, Calpol, Crocin. These are the brand names of paracetamol, and Tylenol in USA. Brand names vary from company to company. Next, coming to the importance of drug nomenclature. Now, why drug nomenclature is important? Let's understand. First, it avoids confusion. Drug nomenclature is important because it ensures safety, clarity, and consistency in communication among the healthcare professionals, pharmacists, researchers, and patients. Many drugs have similar sounding names, especially brand names. Standardized nomenclature helps to avoid mix-ups that could lead to be wrong drug administration, or it can be fatal sometimes. Example, Celebrex having anti-inflammatory action versus Celiska have antidepressant action. They both sound similar but completely different therapeutic actions. Second, promote patient safety. A consistent naming system reduces risk of prescription errors. Using generic names, it can be ensured that doctors, pharmacists all are talking about the same drug. Third importance, make universal communication easy. Generic names are recognized internationally, while brand names may vary by country to country and company to company. Third, cost-effective healthcare. Generic drugs usually cheaper than the branded drugs. Understanding drug nomenclature helps patient as well as professional to choose affordable options without compromising the treatment. We have already posted a detailed video on difference between the generic and branded drugs. Make sure go and check it out. These are some examples of drug nomenclature with chemical name, generic name and brand name. Check it out. Next, moving to the drug categories. Drugs are classified not just based on action but by its usage and regulation also. So let's understand the 4 drug categories based on how they are regulated. And categories are A. Orphan drugs, B. Prescription drugs, C. OTC or over-the-counter drugs, and D. Essential drugs. Let's explore one by one. A. Orphan drugs. These are the drugs or the medicines that are used for the diagnosis, treatment and prevention of rare diseases. Means the diseases that affect very few people. Example, spinal muscular atrophy, cystic fibrosis, pulmonary arterial hypertension, etc. Now, why are they called as the orphan drug? Because of very small market, low profit, high research cost, pharmaceutical companies usually avoid making them. And there is no reasonable expectation that the cost of developing and marketing will be covered from sales of that drug. So for that, government gives incentives like tax cuts or fast track approval to encourage their development. These drugs are life-saving for the patient with a rare disease. Examples, fomepizole, amphotericin B, sumatriptan, sodium thiosulfate, liothyronine T3, azacitidine, rifabutin, nilotinib, digoxin, rituximab, rifaximin, nitrates, and sodium stibogluconate. Now, how do you remember the example of orphan drugs easily? Don't worry, I have got a trick for you. Just remember this acronym, Fast Learn Dr. RANS. So, example of orphan drugs frequently asked in exams. And if you remember this shortcut, you can solve any question related to the orphan drugs in seconds. So, how to use these tricks? Just remember this acronym as Fast Learn Dr. RANS. So, if you see, F stands for fomepizole, A stands for amphotericin B, S stands for sumatriptan, T stands for sodium thiosulfate or sodium thiosulfate, L stands for levothyronine T3, A stands for azacitidine, R stands for rifabutin, N stands for nilotinib, D stands for digoxin, R stands for rituximab, again R stands for rifaximin, N stands for nitrates and S stands for sodium stibogluconate. So like this, you can use this trick and solve the question. This is important. Next, prescription drugs. These drugs are only dispensed if recommended by a regular medical practitioner or doctors. Example, antibiotics like amoxicillin, CNS drugs, insulin, blood pressure medicine like amlodipine. They come under the Schedule H of the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1945. Now, what is the Schedule H? What is the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1945? Which we will see in detail when we will talk about the pharmaceutical jurisprudence. So remember, always follow your doctor's advice when using the prescription drugs. Third, OTC drugs, or also called as the over-the-counter drugs or non-prescription drugs. These drugs can be taken without the prescription of regular medical practitioner or doctors. Example, paracetamol for fever and pain, antacids like Gelusil for acidity, cough syrup like Benadryl, but still, even OTC drugs should used or should taken carefully. Don't overdose. Fourth and last, essential drugs. These are the most important medicine needed for the public health. So, according to the World Health Organization, essential drugs or medicines are those that satisfy the priority healthcare needs of the majority of population. Means these are the most necessary medicines that everyone should have access to, especially in public health system. Next, basis of selection means how they are selected. Let's understand one by one. First, based on public health relevance means they should treat common and serious diseases in a population. Example, paracetamol is included in the essential drug list because fever and pain are super common. Second example, insulin is essential because diabetes is growing health issue. So, if a disease affects a lot of people, the medicine for it becomes important. Second, evidence on safety and efficacy. Adequate data on its safety and efficacy should be available from clinical studies. Example, amoxicillin is selected because we have years of research proving both its safety as well as efficacy for the treatment of infection. Third, comparative cost effectiveness. They should offer maximum benefit at minimum cost, making them suitable for government health programs. So basically, generic versions are often preferred because they cost less. Next, why the essential drug concept? To ensure the availability of drugs at all times in proper and appropriate dosage forms. Second, to assure quality and economical range. So it should be available to everyone at an affordable price. Third, to provide complete information. For example, drug name, dosage forms, indications, side effects, fixed dose combination that should be safe, etc. Moving to the history of essential medicines concept, the World Health Organization brought out its first model list of essential drugs along with their dosage forms and strength in 1977, which had around 200 drugs. The list is revised every 2 years by the WHO expert committee. In 2007, a separate list for children up to 12 years came. In India, we have our own list called as National List of Essential Medicines, which produced in 1996 and revised in 2011, which had 348 medicines. In 2013, again the list revised, which includes 406 medicines. So, essential drug concept is a powerful tool to promote the health equity because it ensures that no one is left behind, especially poor and vulnerable. Now, let's check the understanding of topic through this quick question. And the question is, essential drug is, and the options are A, drugs that have been developed specifically to treat a rare medical condition. B, those drugs that satisfy the healthcare needs of the majority of the population. C, those drugs that satisfy the healthcare needs of at least 50% of population. And C, drug that is used to be within the first hour of the acute attack of disease. So, let's understand one by one. So, option A, drugs that have been developed specifically to treat the rare medical condition, that is called as the orphan drug, as I mentioned before. Come towards the option C, those drugs that satisfy the healthcare needs of at least 50% of the population. There is a no concept on this statement in pharmacology. D, there is no concept on the statement which is written in D also. Now let's coming to the statement B. Essential drug is a drugs that satisfy the healthcare needs of majority of the population. So answer will be B. Thank you and stay tuned for the Part 4 of General Pharmacology.